If you're watching this, it's because you've already decided that you want to become a loan officer. Or maybe you're already licensed, but you're sitting there wondering why this career feels 10 times harder than everybody made it sound. Maybe you saw somebody on social media posting commission checks, closing photos, beach vacations, awards trips, top producer incentives, and you thought, man, I could do that. And guess what? You probably can. But before you go all in, you need to understand what this business actually is. Because loan origination is not a job you can casually try out. It is definitely not a side hustle. It's not something you do because you like houses or because your cousin is a realtor or because somebody told you mortgage people make good money. This is a sales profession with an emphasis on profession. This is a marketing profession. This is a relationship profession. And if you do it right, it can change your life. I know because it has not only changed my life, but my children's lives and even the grandchildren that aren't even born yet. It's already impacted their lives for the better. But if you come into it with the wrong expectations, it can chew you up, humble you in a heartbeat, and spit you right back out. So today we're talking about what it really takes to make it as a mortgage loan originator, who this career is actually built for, who should probably stay away from it, and how to give yourself a real shot, but only if you're serious. I'm Dustin Owen, and this is the DO Show. They don't teach this shit in school, but they should. I'm Dustin Owen, and for the past 20 years, the mortgage industry has been my classroom. I've helped over 2,000 families become homeowners, built a $1 billion mortgage operation from scratch, and earned my way into the top 1% of income earners worldwide. Along the way, I became a real estate investor, a business owner, and have invested in over 20 tech startups, even hitting a 20x return on one of my investments. This isn't theory, it's experience. Welcome to the DO Show, where I teach the lessons life taught me the hard way. So here's where we have to start. Most people misunderstand the job. They think becoming a loan officer means learning loan programs, understanding credit, knowing things like FHA versus VA or conventional versus jumbo, deciphering acronyms like DTI, LTV, AUS, understanding guidelines, overlays, and all the fun mortgage alphabet soup that makes normal people want to walk into traffic. And yes, you do need to learn that. You absolutely need to understand your craft. But that is not where the job starts. The job starts with getting someone to trust you just enough to have a conversation. Then getting someone to trust you even more to give you their financial information. Then getting somebody to trust you enough to choose you over their bank, their credit union, the lender down the road, their cousin's uncle's brother's uncle who just got licensed, or even the lender that they saw advertised on TV or through a Google search. That's the job. You are not just a mortgage person. You are in the business of generating opportunity, converting opportunity, and then delivering on the promise. And if you can't generate opportunity, none of the mortgage knowledge matters. Understanding how to structure loans and quote rates matters zero if you don't have someone calling you who needs your help. You can be the smartest guideline nerd in the building, but if the phone doesn't ring, if the inbox is empty, if realtors don't know you exist, if past clients aren't referring you, you don't have a business. All you have at that standpoint is a license. That's why the first thing I tell any new originator is you better be willing to network. He and she with the most friends wins. And I don't mean posting one thing on Facebook that says, excited to announce I'm now helping families with home financing. That's cute and all, and what a great place to get started, but that's not a strategy. You need to go through your phone and start making calls. Your calls may start with, who do you know in real estate? Who do you know in mortgage? Who do you know that owns a business? Who do you know who recently purchased a home? Who do you know that's a connector? Like this guy or this girl knows everybody in town. You need to ask for introductions. You need to show up at local events. You need to join the realtor associations, the builder groups, the mortgage associations, and any other networking group that could introduce you to potential long-term referral sources. You need to get out there and shake hands. You need to be willing to be a little awkward in the beginning. You know what? We're all a little awkward, especially in the beginning. The difference is the ones who make it don't use awkwardness as an excuse. They just get better. They learn how to introduce themselves. They learn how to ask better questions. They learn how to follow up. They learn how to earn attention without begging for it. So if you're brand new, you also need to understand something else. Most companies are not sitting around hoping a rookie loan officer walks through the door. That's a cold, hard truth. It may hurt a little bit to hear it, but look, y'all, it's the truth. If you have no book of business, no experience, no relationships, and you need training, then you're more of a burden than you are a benefit. Even if you're on commission, somebody still has to train you. Somebody has to answer your questions. Somebody has to fix your mistakes, and you will make mistakes. You want to make mistakes. Mistakes are how you learn. Somebody has to help you not blow up a file, kill a realtor relationship, or worse, the company's reputation. So when you're trying to get hired and people aren't calling you back, don't take it personally. Understand the math. They're looking at you as an investment. And if you want someone to invest in you, you need to give them a reason. That reason is not, oh, I'm really excited, or I love helping people, or worse, I think real estate is interesting. Those things are all nice, but they're not enough. What gets someone's attention is proof that you have the traits this business requires. Have you ever overcome adversity? Have you been great at something before you entered the mortgage industry? Have you competed? Have you sold before? Have you built something? Have you had to work your way up? Have you been told no but kept going? Have you been recognized by your peers, your coaches, your managers, or your customers at being great? Have you shown that when things get hard, you don't disappear? Because that's what this business tests for. Not your excitement, but your staying power. I've seen people come into this industry from all kinds of backgrounds to become successful. I've had former athletes come work for me, car salespeople, servers and bartenders, teachers, other financial professionals. We've taken in people from retail, people from hospitality. Heck, I even had people who started as a receptionist, a processor, a loan officer assistant. Several started just in business development before ever originating their own loans and running their own book of business. There is no perfect path, but the successful ones tend to have a few things in common. First, they are resourceful. Second, they are coachable. Third, they're competitive. Fourth, they can communicate. Fifth, they have enough humility to learn and enough confidence to take action. And finally, they usually have some kind of chip on their shoulder, not in a toxic way, in a productive way. They have something in them that says, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to show them, whoever them are, who doubted me. You have to understand, your first 2 years in this business are not easy. I don't care what anybody promised you. I don't care what office you join. I don't care what market you're in. I don't care what company you belong to. If you're building from scratch, you need to give yourself at least 2, and in some cases 3 years. Not 2 months, not 6 months, 2 to 3 years, period. End of story. That doesn't mean you won't close loans early. You probably will. It doesn't mean that you can't make money in year 1, because you can. But to actually build a business, to have referral partners, repeatable lead flow, confidence in your process, and some rhythm to your week, well, y'all, that takes time. And this is where a lot of people mess up. They come in thinking, I'll give this a shot. No, it's not a shot. That's not the mindset that you need. In fact, that mindset will get you smoked. You don't give it a shot. You commit to learning a profession. You commit to being bad before you ever expect to be good. You commit to making the calls, showing up, asking for meetings, getting rejected. Oh yeah, you'll get rejected. Learning guidelines, getting coached, making mistakes, fixing them, and then coming back the next day. That's the career. And if that sounds exhausting, awesome. Because it should. Because it is. but it's also one of the best careers in America if you're wired for it. And it's okay if you're not. But for those that are, you can build real income. You can build amazing relationships. You can help people make one of the biggest financial decisions of their lives and make it in a manner that is the right decision. You can create freedom for your family. You can become known in your market. You can build something that actually belongs to you, right? You get to become the man or the woman. You no longer have to work for the man. But you are not entitled to that outcome just because you passed a test. That license gets you in the arena. It does not win the fight for you. Now, will you struggle? Oh yeah, you're going to struggle, right? And it's okay. Let's talk about the struggles, because this is where most people need to be honest with themselves. Nice is not enough. Being a good person is not enough. Wanting to help people is not enough. You should be nice. You should be a good person. And helping people is what we do. That's the bare minimum standard. But if that's all you have, take it from me, this might not be the right seat. Because the lead role in this business requires drive. It requires sales activity. It requires relentless follow-up. It requires uncomfortable conversations. It requires asking for business. It requires telling a realtor why they should meet with you. Hint, wink, wink, nod, nod, because you help realtors win. If you don't know how to help realtors win, ask them. It requires telling a borrower why your advice is worth listening to. It requires running your day like someone who owns the outcome. Support roles can be filled with people who are kind, organized, helpful, and steady. Great processors, loan officer assistants, loan coordinators, client care professionals, they are all priceless. But an originator has to be willing to go hunt. Ethically, professionally, but still hunt. You have to create demand. You have to build trust before you need it. You have to stay visible when you don't feel like it. You have to follow up when it would be easier to assume they're not interested. And you have to handle rejection without making it mean something about your identity. It's not personal, y'all. It's business. And I know that's not easy. That's why just wanting to make six figures is usually not a strong enough reason to become a mortgage loan originator. Now, don't get me wrong, $100,000 a year is real money, right? That's a great amount of personal annual income. And I don't say that lightly. But if your entire goal is I just want to make six figures, this career might be too hard for that goal. Because the first couple of years can be brutal. There are easier ways to make a stable income. But if you're thinking bigger, if you're saying, I want to build a real business, I want to become one of the best in my market, I want to fund more loans, help more families, earn more money, and create long-term opportunity, okay, now you have my attention. Now you and we're talking. That kind of goal can pull you through the hard parts. The hard parts are definitely coming. You will have files fall apart. You will lose deals you thought were yours. You will have realtors ghost you. You will watch someone less talented than you get business because they're more visible than you. You will get humbled by those guidelines. You will have borrowers shop you and you won't win every deal. You will have days where you wonder if you made a mistake. And all of that is normal. I know so because I lived it. The question is not whether those days happen. The question is what you do when they do happen. Do you get resourceful? Do you call your mentor? Do you study your guidelines? Do you ask better questions? Do you tighten your process? Do you go make more calls? Sometimes the one thing you can control is your attitude and your effort. Do you go back to work? Or do you start looking for the exit? All of these above questions is why mentorship matters so much. If you're new, don't just chase the highest comp plan. That is one of the biggest rookie mistakes I see, and I see it day in, day out, year in, year out. You don't know enough yet for comp to be the deciding factor. You need training. You need access. You need someone who will show you how to structure your day. You need someone who will teach you what to say when you go on that realtor meeting. You need someone who will help you understand how to take an application properly, how to ask the right questions. Sometimes that's the question behind the question, how to read a credit report, how to think through income, how to present options, how to set expectations, and more importantly, what it means to find a way to yes. You need a place where you can learn the business. That may mean starting as a loan officer assistant if you can find one of those opportunities. That may mean business development for a top producer. That may mean processing assistant if you can find one of those positions. That may mean joining a team before you try to be the hero on your own. There's no shame in any of the above. Some of the best originators I know did not start as the big name on the sign. They learned, they supported, they watched, they asked questions, they showed up for somebody else. They got around large amounts of volume. They saw what real files looked like. They experienced those real consumer conversations. They built skill before they tried to build a brand. That particular path can be extremely powerful. Now, if you're already originating, you're sitting there thinking, I've been doing this for a while, D.O., and I'm not where I want to be. Then I'd ask you a different set of questions. Are you treating this like a profession or like a job? Because it's not a job. Are you showing up every day with a plan? Do you know where your next 10 referrals are supposed to come from? Do you have a defined process for realtor outreach? Do you have a past client database you actually touch? And if not a past client database, how about a database of your circle of influence? Do you have a content strategy that sounds like you and speaks to the people you want to serve? Do you actually know your numbers? I mean, do you know how many calls you need to make? How many meetings you need to book? How many applications you must take? How many pre-approvals you must issue? How many contracts you need to win? And then ultimately, how many loans you need to fund? If you don't know your numbers, then you're guessing. And guessing is not a business plan. Guessing is for amateurs. Top producers, they're not always more talented. Many times they're just more consistent. They have better habits. They have better systems. They follow up better. They communicate better. They don't reinvent their week every single Monday morning. They know what moves the needle, and they do those things even when they're bored of doing them. That's the part most people don't want to hear. This business rewards boring consistency. The same calls, the same follow-ups, the same database touches, the same partner meetings, the same process improvement, the same commitment to getting a little sharper every week. One of my favorite books is Atomic Habits by James Clear. He teaches getting 1% better per day. You don't need a magic script. You need a repeatable system that you will actually execute. Now let's talk about intelligence. Some people call that capacity because this career does require you to think. Now look, you don't have to be a mathematician. I'll tell you that all you need to do is dominate fourth grade math. That means no calculus. You don't need to be the smartest person in every room, but you do need to be able to solve problems. You need to understand basic math. You need to understand how money works. You need to explain numbers in a way regular people can understand. I think of that as communicating on the fourth grade level. You need to look at a borrower's situation and think through options. That's pretty simple when you put yourself in their shoes and you walk a mile. You need to know when something doesn't smell right. You need to be able to learn programs, products, and guidelines. And as technology and AI become more common in the business, that doesn't mean you get to turn your brain off. It means you need to become better at asking questions and checking work. Tools can help you move faster. They cannot replace your judgment. If you don't understand the business, you won't know when the tool is wrong. And when the tool is wrong, your borrower doesn't blame the tool. They blame you. So yes, use technology. Of course, have systems. 1000% leverage automation. Use anything that helps you serve better and move faster, but don't outsource your responsibility. This is still a human trust business. People want to know that when things go sideways, and they will go sideways. People want to know that their loan officer can think, communicate, and lead. That's what the real job is. And this is why I don't believe in treating mortgage like something you do on the side. Can some people do insurance, real estate, commercial deals, or even mortgages and 3 other things? Yeah, they can. There's definitely exceptions, but there's always exceptions. But most people are not exceptions. Most people need focus, singular focus. If you want to be great at mortgage, Then be great at mortgage. Learn the craft, study the market, build your referral network. Serve your clients. That's past and future. Become known for being the person who can get people educated, qualified, prepared, and funded. Don't be halfway committed to 5 different things and then wonder why none of them are working. This business gives back when you give it your full attention. So if you're thinking about becoming a loan officer, here's the honest checklist. Are you willing to network before you feel ready? Are you willing to get rejected? Typically, more times than you get accepted. Are you willing to be coached, whether it's by your mentor, your branch manager, or a third-party service like TLOP's Originator Coaching? Are you willing to spend 2 to 3 years building? Are you willing to learn sales as well as marketing, then the guidelines, how to communicate better, as well as follow-up strategies? Are you willing to work like this is your business, not just a job? Are you willing to be resourceful when nobody hands you the answer? If the answer is yes, well, good news. This career might be a great fit. If the answer is no, you know what? That's okay too. Better to know now than 6 months from now when you're frustrated, broke, and blaming the industry. The mortgage business does not need more people casually trying it out. It needs true, full-time, serious, growth-minded professionals. It needs people who care about the client, respect the craft, and are willing to do the work. Because when you do this job well, look, it matters. You help people buy homes. You help families make smarter financial decisions. You help real estate professionals look good. You help communities grow. You help people understand options they didn't know they had. And yes, you can make an incredible living doing it. But the money follows the value follows the skill follows the work. So if you're new, get around the right people, find mentorship, seek training, develop or create, or better yet, go work for someone who already has a system. Be humble enough to learn and hungry enough to execute. If you're already in the business, take inventory. Where are you consistent? What are you hiding from? Where are you waiting for someone else to create your opportunities? Where do you need a better process? Where do you need to stop dabbling and start committing? Because this industry will 1000% reward the people who become great. Not average, not casual, but the people who become great. The opportunity is still there for the originator who is willing to build relationships. The opportunity is still there for those that want to hone their craft. The opportunity is there for those that are going to focus on being great communicators, and they're going to show up every day for years. That's the game. It's not easy, but 1000% I'm here to tell you it's worth it. Now, look, if you got value from today's episode, do me a favor and subscribe to the Loan Officer Podcast on YouTube. We're putting out content every week to help mortgage professionals get better, think sharper, and build stronger businesses. And if you're serious about growing as an originator, go to tloponline.com and check out the originator coaching products we have. Whether you're newer to the business, trying to find your footing, or you've been around and know you need better systems, better accountability, and better training, TLOP's Originator Coaching has what you need. Y'all, I'm Dustin Owen, and this is the DO Show. Thank you for tuning in. We look forward to catching you on the next episode.